Okay, so here is my actual tank. This is a 29-gallon tank, and I've got this thing all set up. This is a brand new tank, so I don't even have the gravel in yet. I've got that on order. I'm using fluorite. But you can see here, here's the actual filter. See the two lines running up, and there's the return line, and back behind there is the freshwater line. And of course I've got my thermometer back there, my heater back there, which I don't have turned on right now. There's no need, there's no fish. And I'm using the spray bar, as you can see. Now, I'm doing it in a technique that is basically, you can see that I have the rods slightly below the water line and angled up. So the advantages to this are that it's quiet and there's not as much of a disruption in the water. The disadvantage would be that obviously the oxygen exchange isn't going to be as great as if this was actually above the line and trickling down. It's not breaking the water as much. It's still enough. This isn't going to be a breeder tank or anything where I'm going to have 100 fish in here. It's more than enough. Plus, I'm actually going to have an air pump somewhere in the tank. I don't know yet where, but my son actually has a SpongeBob ornament that blows bubbles, so that will help a little bit. But again, this is more than enough oxygen for the number of fish that I plan on putting in this tank. And of course, some of you fish experts out there will have something to say about that, but this is the way that I'm going to do it. So that's it for that. But it's really quiet. I had to check this thing so many times to make sure it was even running. It is so quiet, and even putting my hand on here, I can barely feel it running. I mean, really. Not only that, but the primer, I've seen a video. There's another guy who actually did an unboxing and setup, and he was going at this pump, this primer, for, I don't know, on video it must have been 5 minutes. And it took forever. And basically it just comes down to the fact that his lines are way too long. So I cut my lines, I trimmed them so that they're as short as they can be, or as I'm comfortable with them. And I literally pushed this button one time, and water just came down and started filling this up. And you'll notice as the water is filling up, you will see it coming up, and then you just plug in the filter and off you go. There is no on-off switch, so it is basically just plug it in and it runs. So it's one of those things where it's so quiet that if you were to plug it in, it would dry run and you probably wouldn't even know it. That's how quiet it is. So very quiet, very quiet. And it's just the right amount of suction. There was some debris that was floating around in the tank. I've had this running overnight. There is no debris left whatsoever, and I saw a few pieces of debris that were floating around, and I saw one of them go straight to the intake, and it took it right up right away. Now, I'm not using filter media right now. The only thing I'm using is what came with it, minus the charcoal. And that's just because I want to clean up the water before I get the actual biological media in here, as well as the 3 medias that I ordered online, which would be a coarse, medium, and a fine filter media. And then the top is going to be a biological media. And it's called BioHome Ultimate is what it is. So this isn't going to be the final setup, but might as well get everything cleaned out as much as possible. Tomorrow I should have the gravel. I'll add the gravel after I've washed it up really good. I've got fluorite black, 20 pounds, along with 5 pounds of just generic blue stone that I'm going to mix in with it. This is not going to be a heavily planted tank, so I'm not worried about getting the ratio of fluorite to gallons perfect so the plants can really thrive, because this is not going to be an extreme planted tank. You know, I'm going to have probably a half dozen plants or so. So I don't need 30 pounds of fluorite in here. So this is gonna be, it's just gonna be just fine. 20 pounds of fluorite, 5 pounds of bluestone to add some color to it, and then it should be ready to go. I'll let this run a couple of days when it's all set up, and then add a couple Danios, let them thrive for a couple of weeks. As long as everything's okay, then I'll be able to start adding more fish. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But again, this thing is so quiet. I mean, I'm telling you, you really don't know it's running. And this is the smallest one that they offer. More than enough. There's more than enough current you can see in there. It's quiet. It's just wonderful. I'm really, really happy. I'm really pleased with this, and I can't wait to get some fish in here, get some biological cycle going, and really be able to enjoy it. So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. But very easy to set up. I was off and running in probably 5 minutes. So, alright. Take care, guys.